Hello and welcome to my presentation. For part 1, I chose chapter 7 of our textbook that talks about Peter Newmark. Peter Newmark is one of the most influential figures in shaping English translation studies. While John Catford gave the initial boost, it was Newmark who consolidated the discipline, especially through his academic leadership and published works. Newmark published several key works, where he gathered his reflections on translations. These books became central texts in the field and helped shape how translation was taught in the UK and beyond. Newmark believed translation theory comes from comparative linguistics, especially semantics and sociolinguistics. He also emphasized that translators must maintain high quality writing and even improve flawed original text, though his interventionist approach has sparked debate. Newmark broke down translation into two main processes: comprehension, where the translator interprets the meaning, and formulation, where they recreate it in the target language, always keeping context in mind. One of Newmark's key distinctions is between communicative translation, which focuses on achieving the same effect on the target reader, and semantic translation, which sticks closely to the original meaning. For example, the sign "Beware of dog" would require a communicative approach to maintain its practical effect. While Newmark's focus on practical problem solving is one of the greatest his greatest contributions, critics argue that his theoretical categories often overlaps, making his framework less systematic and more idiosyncratic. Despite the critics, Newmark's impact on the translation pedagogy is undeniable. His work continued to influence how translation is taught, and his models still generate discussion and debate among scholars and students. Newmark published several key works where he gathered his reflections on translations. These books became central texts in the field and helped shape how translation is taught in the UK and beyond. Maybe. Now, for part 2, cultural literacy and philosophical orientation in translation. I chose chapter 15, which deal with the deconstruction and post-structuralism in translation. Baby. Derrida uses the Babel story to show how translation is both necessary and impossible. Languages are scattered and no perfect translation exists. He argues that proper names are specially untranslatable and that when we translate, we're actually adding something new to the original and not just copying it. Berman wants us to stop seeing translations as just as technical or aesthetic tasks. For him, translation is an ethical act. It should preserve the foreignness of the text, not hide it to make it easier for local readers. He encouraged translators to be aware of the cultural forces and shaping their work. Benuti takes Berman's ideas further, arguing that translators today are often invisible. The goal is to make text read like an original, erasing the translator's presence. He challenges this, saying translators should disrupt smoothness and remind readers they're reading a translation, pushing back against cultural imperialism. To wrap up, all three thinkers challenge the idea that translations is just about finding the right words. Instead, they push us to see translation as messy, ethically loaded process that shapes how culture meet, clash, and understand each other. In conclusion, Derrida, Berman, and Venuti ask us to rethink translation beyond just words. They show us that translations shapes power, ethic, and culture. As translators, we're not just moving meaning, we're participating in a complex negotiation between cultures, and that comes with responsibility. Here are my references. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation.